So look at Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. One pride, baby! Yeah! What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, the Detroit Lions defeated the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football a few days ago. Unfortunately, I had some life stuff going on, so I wasn't able to make a video directly after. And of course, this is really the first time I've been able to sit down and really take a look at this Detroit Lions victory. Today, I wanted to take a look at something that really stood out to me throughout the game. Something that constantly throughout the game helped the Detroit Lions find victory on Thursday Night Football, helped dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs as the best team in the NFL. Yes, I understand they didn't have Travis Kelce. I understand they didn't have Chris Jones, but those two players did not single-handedly win a Super Bowl. The Lions still outplayed Patrick Mahomes. They still outplayed Andy Reid. They still outplayed the reigning Super Bowl champs and these several members returning from that roster. And the one thing that really stood out to me, especially watching back the game, was the Detroit Lions pass rush. Now, everybody knows Aiden Hutchinson was really good. Everybody knows that Aiden Hutchinson was wreaking havoc and he was having a lot of pressures and had several quarterback hits. But a lot of people say that the Detroit Lions, outside of Aiden Hutchinson, had very little pass rush and their defensive line in general really wasn't that good. Now, this took me by surprise as the Detroit Lions, of course, haven't had the best pass rush in the league as of recent years, and the Kansas City Chiefs are supposed to have one of the better offensive lines in football, right? You have Creed Humphrey, who's an all-pro. You have Joe Thuney, who's a top 5 paid guard. You have Jawan Taylor, who I believe is now a top 5 paid tackle in the NFL. The interior is supposed to be really, really good, and the tackles are supposed to be serviceable. It's supposed to be a top 10 offensive line in football. So people being so down on the Detroit Lions pass rush seemed very strange to me, considering I thought they played very well, Aiden Hutchinson and the rest of the group included. So I wanted to go through, take a look at the Lions pass rush, kind of take a look at how good they did versus a very strong Kansas City offensive line, a very good quarterback in terms of escapability, and see whether or not the Lions really do have something with this brand new pass rush. And after putting so many resources into it for the last several seasons and off seasons. So taking a look, we're going to go chronologically through game order. So this is one of the first drives of the game. This is the beginning of the game. And, you're going to see the Detroit Lions interior pass rush is actually going to make this play. Obviously, you have the Kansas City Chiefs having a big play on this drive, but you have this guy right here, Benito Jones, just throwing Joe Thuney right back into the lap of Patrick Mahomes. And yeah, he gets the football out. He's able to, make a good play and he's able to complete it for a first down. But that is one of the highest paid guards in football that just got walked back into the quarterback by our third string defensive tackle. Aiden Hutchinson here, of course, putting some work on Jawan Taylor as well. So opening the game, really strong pass rush performance. Here is going to be one of the better Aiden Hutchinson plays of the night. Of course, he's going to get chipped. He is going to get double teamed, and just the relentless pass rush. He's going to get held there as well. And then Alex Anzalone eventually steps up to make the play. But again, the relentless pass rush by Aiden Hutchinson and the effort given by this Detroit Lions front over the entire game is absolutely astounding. Another one right here, just a few plays later, and you are going to see the entire defensive line, right? You're going to see John Kaminsky really stack up. I don't know if he's getting held or not, but he's in a good position. You see, of course, Charles Harris get around the edge and force Mahomes to step up. You have Josh Pascal on all-pro center Creed Humphrey just kind of stacking up, making sure Mahomes can't go too far, and he forces him back into the arms of John Kaminsky for what would have been a sack, but ended up being a 1-yard gain by them. Just a good team play by the pass rush. This, again, they're sending, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're sending 6 players for 5 blockers. 1 player should get home. Josh Pascal is able to loop around and get a good shot in on the quarterback. And again, yeah, it's completed, but the pass rush got to Mahomes. The pressure got there. And although he was able to complete the pass because he's Patrick freaking Mahomes and he's the best quarterback in the NFL, this is all in the first quarter, by the way. These are all very early, maybe even the first drive, although I don't have the exact timestamps. And the Lions just get after Patrick Mahomes over and over and over again. Right, Aiden Hutchinson here with the double spin move. Yeah, he loses contain, but it just shows how relentless of a pass rusher he is. He absolutely, destroyed Jawan Taylor twice with the spin move, right? This first spin move, he wins inside. If Patrick Mahomes wants to step up, if there's any kind of pressure, any kind of edge set from the outside, this is a clean sack for Aiden Hutchinson. Patrick Mahomes escapes. Aiden Hutchinson says, I'll do it again. And he puts Jawan Taylor on the ground. Yes, he loses contain. Yes, Patrick Mahomes picks up 3 or 4 yards on this play. But the pass rush, the ability to get around tackles is really, really impressive from Aiden Hutchinson. This play, second-round pick, Levi Onwuzurike, coming back from a back injury and a back surgery, just completely walks around Joe Thuney. Again, one of the better guards in the NFL, one of the higher-paid guards in the NFL, number 62 right here, matched up on 91. Levi Onwuzurike just goes right around him. He gets a nice clean shot on the quarterback and forces an incompletion to Rashee Rice. A really, really strong performance by Levi Onwuzurike. This is the very next play, right? You have Levi Onwuzurike, again, coming off that back surgery, being double teamed by an all-pro in Creed Humphrey and one of the top paid guards in football in Joe Thuney. So what happens? Charles Harris one-on-one with the tackle, gets around, gets the pressure, gets tossed down. Unfortunately, they do lose contain. But again, more pressure, forcing Mahomes out of the pocket, forcing Mahomes to move. And Mahomes, I think, kind of gets this rap of like, oh, he's an elite passer, so there's no way he's this elite runner as well. Patrick Mahomes is not Deshaun Watson, all right? He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Justin Fields. He's not that level of an athlete. But Patrick Mahomes is arguably the most difficult quarterback to tackle in the entire NFL. His release is so quick. He's so quick with his movements. He accelerates so incredibly fast. He is a really tough quarterback to get on the ground. So, yeah, why these plays look like, oh, they're losing contain. Oh, he scrambles up the middle. Jordan Love might not make that play, right? Justin Fields isn't going to have that sense of pressure to step up away from the pocket, right? Kirk Cousins is not doing that to the Detroit Lions, nor are several of the other players on the Lions list, right? Jimmy Garoppolo is not doing that to the Detroit Lions in week 7. I don't think Desmond Ridder has the, pocket awareness to really step up and do that for the Atlanta Falcons. There's a lot of quarterbacks on the list that are mobile, but are not the escape artist that Patrick Mahomes is. So even though they didn't quite get a sack on this game, there was a ton of relentless pressure and a lot of really good play by this Detroit Lions defensive line. Again, this is a play. They're backed up in the end zone. The Detroit Lions are going to send a blitz. They're sending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players at the quarterback. Actually, scratch that. Josh Pascal isn't even actually rushing. So it's 5-on-5. And despite there being a free rusher, technically, by Malcolm Rodriguez, Aiden Hutchinson just cleanly wins this, gets a hit on Mahomes, and it should have been a pick from C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And he absolutely knows it should have been an interception. Another one right here. Levi Onwuzurike being double-teamed by Creed Humphrey and the right guard. And Benito Jones just walks his guy right back into Patrick Mahomes. John Kaminsky won his matchup. Aiden Hutchinson won around the backside. Unfortunately, again, Mahomes is able to step up and escape. He's able to flip it over to Rashee Rice. The coverage not quite great, but the pressure, again, forcing Mahomes to step up, forcing Mahomes to take short options, forcing Mahomes to get rid of the ball a little quicker than he wants are all really good signs, again, versus a top 10 offensive line with the Kansas City Chiefs. Even more pressure. And we're only going over pass rush reps, right? There's a ton of run stopping reps that this front seven looked really, really good at. They flew around to the football. This should be a sack on 90% of quarterbacks. Anybody not named probably Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields, this is a sack. But Mahomes is the third guy on that list that, he's able to dip his shoulders and he's able to get rid of that football. Nobody other than Mahomes and maybe Aaron Rodgers gets that football away after breaking a tackle. There's a flag on the play. I don't exactly remember what the flag was for, but I digress. Aiden Hutchinson again, playing in the middle, a different front this time. James Houston on the outside, Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Pascal on the interior, and Charles Harris on the edge. Again, Charles Harris gets chipped. Aiden Hutchinson wins cleanly on the inside, gets in the face of Patrick Mahomes, and unfortunately, he delivers a really good football. But again, more pressure, constantly getting after the quarterback. And again, if this wasn't Patrick Mahomes, I fully believe the Detroit Lions would have had 3-4 4, maybe even 5 sacks in this game. There are several times where they have Patrick Mahomes dead to rights, and he's able to do his Patrick Mahomes improvisation and somehow find a way out. Now, I do want to highlight a couple of run plays here. I really just thought Josh Pascal had a really good game, and I wanted to highlight Josh Pascal's game. So this is the end around, I believe, right before the first or second touchdown. But this is Josh Pascal. This guy has the ball. Josh Pascal's moving this way. This should be a touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs. And Josh Pascal is able to get around. He's able to make the tackle. And if he doesn't make that tackle, that's probably a touchdown. Now, all of those highlights came in the first half of the Kansas City Chiefs game. These are all in the second half. All those clips I just showed you were in the first half. All that pressure that they got to Mahomes, all the times, all the hits that they got on him, all the times they forced him to step up and scramble, that is all from just the first 2 quarters of football, and we have a whole another half to go. Aiden Hutchinson, try to block him at the tight end, relentless pressure, a hit from Benito Jones, a quarterback hit. This next play, right, you have 4 guys rushing, right? You have James Houston, you have Kaminsky, you have, I believe, Aiden Hutchinson, and Charles Harris. A lot of guys were rotating around in this front 4, and again, they're able to get pressure. A hit on Patrick Mahomes, ball out quick, ball, tackled and bounced for a very minimal game. The Detroit Lions here, they're rushing 5. And I didn't even know they're rushing 4 even, because Alex Anzalone, I believe, takes this running back. James Houston gets around. He's almost making contact. Aiden Hutchinson's pressuring, pushing in. And of course it leads to the interception, the pick 6. That pick 6 probably should not have happened, right? But Patrick Mahomes had to get rid of it because James Houston was crawling around his ankles. And yeah, that pass should have been caught, but the Lions forced Mahomes into at least 2, if not 3 interception-worthy throws. And honestly, if they played a little better on defense, they could have walked away with 3 picks on the reigning MVP. Another one right here, right? Charles Harris got chipped at the line. He still works his way through, still has pressure, does get to the quarterback, and forces an incomplete underthrown football. Well, on this play right here, the pass rush originally isn't the best, right? Jack Campbell is spying, Josh Pascal and Aiden Hutchinson on this side. You have, of course, Aleem McNeil and Charles Harris on this side. Not great originally, but the coverage is solid, and just the relentless hustle from these two forces, again, a high error throw from Mahomes, forcing that ball to be incomplete. Right here, Aiden Hutchinson is going to draw the double team, leaving Levi one-on-one, and he again walks Tooney right back into the lap of Patrick Mahomes. He escapes, but takes a shot here at the very end. The Detroit Lions continue, right? Levi Onwuzurike continuing to pressure up the middle in a one-on-one situation. If he's not being double teamed, he is consistently pressuring the quarterback. The Detroit Lions here, play action, right? They have 4 guys going after the quarterback with Charles Harris looping around, and they're able to, again, Aleem McNeil wins this rep incredibly cleanly. He would have at least a chance to sack Patrick Mahomes if he wasn't being held by the face mask. I'm not entirely sure what these refs are looking at. This guy's looking right at him, and I guess decides that wasn't a hold or a face mask, and again, checks down and is a very minimal play as opposed to the 2 deep crossing routes that were originally going for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Detroit Lions, again, rushing 4. Aleem McNeil wins versus his guy up the middle. Joe Tooney, despite getting beat a lot this game, he's not a bad guard. He's a really good pass protector, and it's lucky that Patrick Mahomes is such a good escape artist, because if he's not, Patrick Mahomes or any other quarterback in this situation, like I said, I fully believe takes 4 to 5 sacks. James Houston, again, the dip around the edge, gets to Mahomes' ankle, holds him in place, and this throw is dropped, admittedly, but Malcolm Rodriguez would have tackled him before the line of scrimmage anyway. And then one of the last plays I want to talk about is, again, this run stuff by Josh Pascal. This is almost more of a pass rush rep just because of how quick he beats the tackle and obviously how quickly he gets into the backfield. But Josh Pascal just was really, really good all night. That rush from him, that tackle for loss was just really, really solid. I wanted to highlight that. Josh Pascal, a really quiet, solid game. Again, on the last play of the game, the Lions are sending 3 guys. They're dropping a lot of guys into coverage. Charles Harris wins around the edge. James Houston wins around the edge. Aiden Hutchinson is following Patrick Mahomes on the rollout so that he cannot scramble up in the pocket. And, of course, John Kaminsky is doing John Kaminsky things, taking up blocks in the middle. There's 2 guys here. Patrick Mahomes is not going anywhere. They force him into a cross-body throw across the field. And, yeah, it honestly probably should have been completed, but it wasn't, right? It was dropped. Sometimes that happens. The Chiefs were only officially charted for 3 drops on the night. The Lions were charted for 2. And I think that a lot of the drops that came from it, the quote unquote drops, were because of pressure from the Detroit Lions. 2 or 3 of those throws were really high because guys were at Patrick Mahomes' ankle. Patrick Mahomes had to move a lot. He had to scramble a lot. He had to step up a lot and had to get rid of the ball early because of the pressure that was constantly surrounding him. And again, this isn't a bad offensive line, right? Jawan Taylor is arguably a top 10 right tackle in the NFL and is certainly being paid like one. Creed Humphrey is arguably the best center in the NFL. And again, Joe Thuney, a great guard. You have their left tackle, who is very highly touted around the NFL, and their interior offensive line was one of the best in football last year. And the Lions' defensive line won their matchup. They won in the running game more times than not. They won in the passing game more times than not. And they were just genuinely the better side of the trench battle yesterday or on Thursday night. So I think the Detroit Lions have a very special pass rush with the players that they have. Aiden Hutchinson is phenomenal. Charles Harris is underrated. Levi Onwuzurike and Josh Pascal had phenomenal games. John Kaminsky did a lot more of the dirty work like he did last year. Didn't have a big statistical success, but was really crucial. Kind of, again, the glue guy that makes everything work, that eats up some double teams, eats up blocks, and allows free rushers. But this edge rush rotation, this pass rush rotation of Aiden Hutchinson, Charles Harris, James Houston, Josh Pascal, John Kaminsky, I don't know if I said Levi Onwuzurike already, but he's certainly a part of it now, as is Aleem McNeil. Those 7 guys had a ton of pressure on a top 10 offensive line in football. If it wasn't Patrick Mahomes, it would have been 4-5 sacks on the night. And going against a Seattle offensive line that isn't nearly as good versus Geno Smith, who isn't nearly as quick to release the ball as Patrick Mahomes, going against tackles that might not play, right? Charles Cross, it's being rumored or being said that he might not be able to go on Sunday versus the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. And maybe will their right tackle, both of their tackles could potentially be out like they were versus the Rams. And I think if they do, it is going to be a long day for the Seattle Seahawks offense. I think this pass rush can win the Detroit Lions games. I think it certainly helped them win this game on Thursday night. And if it continues to look like this, I think the Lions will have a top 15 defense. I think they will have a top 15, maybe even a top 10 pass rush. And Aiden Hutchinson will have quite a bit of production to go alongside it. But with all that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought about the Detroit Lions in their first game, what you thought about the pass rush, what you thought about the secondary, what you thought about the offense, or anything about the game in general. I'd be very curious to hear your guys' takeaways before we move on to Seattle. But with that being said, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, and as always, go Lions.